By the powers vested in me, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, degrees with all the associated rights and privileges will be awarded to and conferred on the candidates whose names appear in the program. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Dames en here, ons versoek 'n oomblik van stille gebed of meditasie uit dankbaarheid vir die prestasies van ons studente. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayer or meditation to give thanks for the achievements of our students. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, it's my privilege to extend a very warm word of welcome to you at this graduation ceremony, beginning our spring graduation series. I particularly wish to extend a warm welcome to all the parents, family members, and friends of our graduates this morning. We are honored to have amongst us the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment and IT, Professor Maharaj, the Deputy Deans of the Faculty, Professors van der Merwe and Elof, Heads of Department and Professors and staff of the University of Pretoria, and I'm also pleased that we have among us as a guest this morning and as one of the co-supervisors of our students, Professor Sinha, who is the Dean at the University of Johannesburg. Professor, welcome. We also, I'm delighted to have in the audience a former chairperson of the University of Pretoria Council, Dr. Hesse and Mrs. Hesse. A warm welcome back to the university from us. We also have on the platform party this morning Mr. Pedri Miller from our academic administration and a member of our Student Representative Council, who will be performing ceremonial duties in that regard. Ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony is one where we will be conferring degrees on students in all 4 schools making up our Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment, and Information Technology. From my point of view, officiating at a graduation ceremony is one of the most uplifting and inspiring duties I have as Vice-Chancellor. These are joyous occasions when we celebrate the success of our students. Typically at this university, we have a series of graduations in autumn of every year, and then, as I've indicated, now in spring. In many countries, graduation is termed a commencement ceremony. And I think it's fitting that we host these ceremonies at when seasons change. We have noticed just in the past few days how it's warmed up here in our city of Pretoria. Just as the seasons change, so too do our lives change. The seasons of our lives, in fact. For our graduates sitting before me this morning, today we're celebrating one of the most significant rites of passage in your life. Graduation is a ritual that symbolizes achievement through hard work, dedication, and focus. You will notice that I still refer to you as graduands, but by the time we end the ceremony, you will be graduates in one way or another, depending upon the degree conferred upon you. We know that each one of you has traveled your own unique path to reach this point where we celebrate with you, and that being a student in today's demanding environment can be extremely challenging under the best of circumstances. And if I add to the mix the difficulties you as a student had to cope with in 2016 when we had protests across the university sector, you can be truly proud of your sense of fortitude and resilience. In so doing, you have set an example for all of us. This not only applies to students, that you're setting an example for fellow students, but I think for everybody within our institution, but in South Africa. That when times are turbulent, politically, economically, and otherwise, it is imperative that we remain firmly focused on that which matters most to us, and that is our academic excellence, and that we do not allow other interests to detract from this focus. It's imperative that we do so for the sake of the future of our country, South Africa. Our future growth and development is dependent on strong institutions, particularly strong institutions in the education sector. In a country with a developing economy like ours, where we know that there's a shortage of high-level skills, and this will continue to be a challenge, we as a university remain focused on producing at the highest level of quality professionals and leaders for our society. By the end of our spring graduation ceremonies, I referred to the autumn ones earlier, for this year we will have conferred over 13,500 degrees. Among these will be, by the end of this year, including this ceremony, 328 doctoral degrees, amongst the highest of any university in the country. Perhaps I could put it in a different way, just to make the point about the impact. From the official statistical information published in South Africa, in 2015, this university produced 14% of all 3- and 4-year bachelor's degrees awarded amongst the 26 universities in our country. We produced 20% of all master's degrees and 17% of all doctoral degrees in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, if you take into consideration the 26 universities, I'm sure you will see that this university is punching far above its weight. And I'm particularly proud to share with you the achievements of the Engineering, Built Environment and IT faculty, whose graduates' achievements we celebrate today. Today, we're conferring 328 degrees on the students from the faculties, including this wonderful row of red gowns before me, our 27 doctorates, 74 master's degrees, 126 honors, and 101 bachelor's degrees. Also, according to the official statistics, in 2015, this faculty, and particularly its School of Engineering, was responsible for 27.8% of all professional engineering degrees awarded by South African universities. And ladies and gentlemen, this was not just a one-year success. Over the past 10 years, we have consistently produced more than a quarter of all the professional engineers in South Africa. I'm also proud to share with you that no matter where I travel in the world meeting our stakeholders, I encounter graduates from the University of Pretoria and particularly from the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment and IT. May I say, many of them are making their mark as proud South Africans. But this is not just about numbers, ladies and gentlemen. It is about the quality of the graduates. We're very proud to share with you this morning that on a regular basis, our programs have been assessed by the relevant quality accreditation bodies. And most recently, we once again hosted the Engineering Council of South Africa. And once again, we have been assured of the quality of the education and the training delivered by this faculty. It's also about the quality of the teaching. In 2015, one of the 5 National Teaching Excellence Awards of the Council on Higher Education and the Higher Education Learning and Teaching Association of South Africa was awarded to a professor in this particular faculty, Professor Tanya Hanekom. And earlier this year, one of the PhD students was awarded the Tata Africa Scholarship for Women in Science, Engineering and Technology at the annual Women in Science Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to emphasize it is about the quality. To make our mark in the world today requires extraordinary resilience and fortitude, given the unexpected nature of events, both locally and globally. You might be familiar with the term post-truth. It was, in 2016, the Oxford English Dictionary's word of the year, post-truth. What does it mean? It's used to describe the world in which we live today, where objective facts and scientific evidence are becoming less influential in shaping public opinion. And instead what we have are leaders and influential people appealing to emotion, personal beliefs, often myth and superstition, to sway people's thinking. As a university, we are committed to the pursuit of truth, and we do so using scientific methodology. So we do not rely on phenomena such as fake news, opinion without evidence, and simple emotion. This is an institution that relies on scientific evidence in all we do, and therefore research is an important part of our mission here at the University of Pretoria. So aside and in addition to the high standard of teaching in the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment and IT, it also excels in research. The faculty has 2 of the university's 15 A-rated researchers, and 6 of the 33 University of Pretoria staff who feature in the top 1% of authors worldwide in terms of their contribution to their disciplines. This is a faculty that has 6 research institutes, 9 research centers, and 17 research chairs, of which 13 are sponsored by industry. And every year that number increases. And this speaks to our commitment to ensuring that we advance scientific knowledge in order to innovate and make a difference in the lives of the people in our communities. Making a difference in the lives of people is what we're about. And in this respect, our faculty has also distinguished itself. The faculty was a trailblazer in developing a comprehensive and sustainable model for integrating community engagement in the curriculum by means of a compulsory community-based undergraduate module. And we were very pleased that we were acknowledged for this. For example, the University of Pretoria chapter of Engineers Without Borders won the first Empowering Communities Through Engineering Excellence Award presented in 2015 for their projects at the Kutumela Molefe Primary School. Ladies and gentlemen, I share this with you to demonstrate that the quality of the degrees conferred upon our graduates today adequately equips them to deal with the challenges and the opportunities that they will encounter in their future. To our graduates, as a university, we've endeavored to do the best we can for you. It's now up to you to use your qualification to maximize the opportunities that you encounter. And as you do so, to know that you can always rely on your alma mater, the University of Pretoria. To the family members in the audience today, and particularly to the sponsors, the parents and guardians, one of the greatest gifts any parent may give a child is a quality education. Today, you can take pride in that you have given your loved one the most precious gift of a quality education. I wish to congratulate you as parents, guardians, and sponsors for making the investment in the high-quality education that we've offered. And we are confident that you will see in the future that this has positioned your loved one very well in relation to the opportunities that will come their way in the years ahead. To our graduates, you have triumphed over all the challenges. You've done the assignments, you've written the exams, you've done the thesis, you've met the deadlines. Today, we congratulate you. I now wish to invite you to enjoy the occasion with us. And perhaps on a less serious note, if any of our graduates happens to be wearing high heels or you're feeling a little anxious, if it so happens that you stumble and fall as you cross the stage, do not be concerned. You will have a wonderful story to tell in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request the Dean and supervisors to introduce to me the candidates present whose names appear in the program in the order in which they appear in the program. Thank you.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates in the School for the Built Environment.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Jennifer Marembe, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Town and Regional Planning, with a thesis titled, A Meta-Perspective on the Dialogues on Emerging Information and Communications Technology, and the impact thereof on people, space, and planning, prepared under my supervision. The promovenda explored the ways in which information communications technology, ICT in short, and related e-technologies are influencing people, space, and planning. A meta-research approach, supported by a conceptual research approach, were used to arrive at a meta-synthesis and perspectives of the various related discourses, studies, and theories. The study brought to the fore novel perspectives on the dynamics and e-powers of ICT, the nature, extent, and speed of the impact of ICT and related e-technologies on people, urban space dynamics and morphology, and urban space networks. Of particular importance for South Africa, the study identified some realities and future possibilities with specific reference to the impoverished communities that have been isolated and excluded from ICT opportunities. Lastly, the study isolated many gaps in the knowledge field and created new awareness, understanding, and interest among the role players involved in planning, development, and management of urban and rural regions. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Anthony Odur-Rolwala, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Architecture with a thesis titled Interpretation of Spatial Organization and Meaning in Kenyan Luo Architecture, prepared under my supervision. The promovendus developed an interpretive framework for holistic explication of Kenyan Luo architecture from the pre-colonial period to the post-colonial present. Sage philosophy is augmented with identified epistemological content from humanities disciplines, architectural analytical approaches, and interpretive strategies outlined by the International Council on Monuments and Sites to provide a hermeneutic interpretation of Luo architecture. Transformations of this architecture, starting from Luo existence in urban informal settlements, are presented on the basis of continuity and change with respect to traditional Luo culture, acculturation, the acquisition of new architectural tastes, and the adoption of stereotypical fashionable architectural forms. The framework is recommended for application to vernacular architecture of other African cultural landscapes. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done. Thank you.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science, Real Estate. Jennifer Gazide. Mpo Lechoete. Michael Lombard. Christine Menges. Philippus Nising. Peter Njiro. Chonanga Nyewenda. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Town and Regional Planning. Kasongo Campuelo. Bachelor of Science Honours in Applied Science Architecture, Leslie Ulu. Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying, Onkabetse Chane. Tumelo Masenya. Kemoratile Mashego. Hanse Mohele. Matanki Mponya. Waldo van der Skeef. Bachelor of Science Honours in Real Estate, Renier Basson. Tando Mshlapo. Bachelor of Science in Architecture, Carla Felsman. Bachelor of Science in Quantity Surveying, Suhail Abdul. Danielle Geyser. Byron Stelzer. Joan Jacques Stradum. Bachelor of Science in Real Estate, Jonathan Hobbs. Bachelor of Science in Construction Management, Zudzitsani Maluleke. Dwayne McDonald. Tyro Mosete. Rain Mulder. Renier Schmidt. Bachelor of Science, Landscape Architecture, Stefan van Deventer. Christine van Zyl. Bachelor of Town and Regional Planning, Rizwana Ismail. Kholofelo Makubedu. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates in the School of IT.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Collins Takainganamo Chasita, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Library Science with a thesis titled Library Consortia and Zimbabwe's National Development Agenda, Librarians' Views on Constructing a Suitable Model. The promovendus investigated how the benefits of Zimbabwe's academic library consortia can be harnessed to promote the achievement of the country's national development goals. This culminated in a model that could accelerate and guide the future development of its library consortia to support a development role. The novel aspect of this study is that it seeks to integrate library consortia into the national development plans of a developing country and to extend their benefits as widely as possible. An extensive literature review of the characteristics, models, and development of library consortia was complemented by a mixed method component that generated data through interviews, questionnaires, observation, and the analysis of key documents. The study also provides a detailed analysis of the successes and challenges of library consortia in countries abroad and in the Southern African region to supplement the empirical data that informs the model. The main finding was that the model with a multi-type structure and a national coordinating committee is advised to transform the development paths of Zimbabwe's academic library consortia to support that country's national development agenda. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Anthea Patricia Amadi Ishendu, who has complied with requirements of the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Science, with a thesis titled Towards a Framework for the Integration of Data and Data Sources in the Automation and Dematerialization of Land Administration Systems, prepared under the supervision of Professor A.S. Aidutue. In her thesis, the promovenda developed a framework that allows for the integration of data sources and the dematerialization of title deeds. The framework adopts a supply chain approach to provide a centralized information, document, and message repository that is transparent to all users. The Department of Rural Development and Land Reform has confirmed the usability of the framework. The research has also contributed to a socio-economic impact assessment of the Deeds Registries Amendment Bill, commissioned by the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Gretchen Shinwasa, who has complied with the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Information Science with a thesis titled Factors Affecting the Use and Non-Use of Electronic Information Resources in Scientific, Technological and Medical Disciplines at Universities in Zimbabwe, prepared under my supervision. In his thesis, the promovendus investigated why e-resources available for free or at low cost are not used and the reason for it. Data collected from 5 universities in Zimbabwe revealed that to improve access and use of the available sources, intervention should focus on training, the improvement of internet access and bandwidth speed, and raising awareness of the value of using such resources. Findings can support university libraries in developing countries to improve the use of e-resources, to negotiate with information service providers, and to improve the research output. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Pritish Dala, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Technology with a thesis titled A Framework and Model of Operation for Electronic Personal Information to Achieve and Maintain Compliance to Condition 7 of the Protection of Personal Information or POPI Act, prepared under my supervision. Pritish Dala identified that the requirements of Condition 7 of the POPI Act are not supported by specific guidance in terms of how these should be satisfied. As such, a POPI Condition 7 framework focused on electronic personal information was proposed. The POPI Condition 7 framework was validated through a POPI research survey aimed at participants from South African institutions. A model of operation for security safeguards was proposed to guide organizations on how the validated selection of security safeguards should be implemented to ensure confidentiality and integrity of electronic personal information. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Maria Susanna Grobler, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Technology with a thesis titled Shaping Meaningful ICT 4D Solutions Using Design Science Research, a Social Shaping of Technology Framework based on the Capability Approach prepared under my supervision. In her thesis, Monty addresses the problem: how should the information needs that are meaningful to women working as domestic workers be effectively translated through the use of ICT in order to enhance the experience of the good life as defined by Sense Capability Approach and to contribute to the success and social value of ICT for development projects. The artifact produced by the study is the Community Shaping Solutions Framework as a human-centered approach to co-create solutions. It draws on the capability approach as a way to measure development and the social shaping of technology theory for the positive role in integrating people and technology concerns by offering a greater understanding of the relationship between scientific excellence, technology innovation, and social well-being. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Caroline Chepkwets-Kiptu, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Information Technology, with a thesis entitled An Ontology and Crowd Computing Model for Expert Citizen Knowledge Transfer in Biodiversity Management, that was prepared under my supervision and with Professor Alta van der Merwe as co-supervisor. In her thesis, the promovenda investigated how ontological modeling and crowd computing technologies can be combined to support knowledge transfer in a biodiversity management domain. The domain is characterized by the transfer of knowledge between experts and citizens who have different absorptive qualities. The experts in the biodiversity community has as goal to create reusable knowledge bases that can be jointly analyzed to answer broader biodiversity questions. The citizens, on the other hand, need access to biodiversity knowledge in order to meet their daily needs. Using design science research, the main contribution of the study, namely the BIMACT model, was developed and evaluated using a case of fruit fly management for small-scale farmers in Kenya. The BIMAP model is a blueprint for application developers on combining ontology and crowd computing technologies for biodirectional knowledge transfer between experts and citizens. The work made important theoretical and methodological contributions to the field of knowledge transfer in information systems. Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidates.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Besizwe Benedicta Muiza, who has complied with the requirements of the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Information Technology, with the thesis titled ICT Usage in Small, Medium and Micro Enterprises, a South African perspective of its role and impact on poverty reduction, prepared under my supervision. In her thesis, the candidate investigated the role and impact of information technology in SMEs in South Africa. Empirical data was gathered through case studies research and semi-structured interviews with small, medium and micro enterprises. Actor network theory and the sustainable livelihoods framework were used as theoretical lenses. This study contributes to the body of knowledge by proposing a conceptual framework that illustrates the role and impact of ICT usage with small, medium and micro enterprises towards improving livelihoods and reducing poverty. The findings indicate that the relationship between ICT usage and poverty reduction is neither simple nor linear. Effective usage of ICTs could result in SMEs improving their human capabilities, social and economic well-being, resulting in poverty reduction. Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Christopher Wesley Cleghorn, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis titled Particle Swarm Optimization, Empirical and Theoretical Stability Analysis, prepared under my supervision. In his thesis, the promovendus provided an assumption-free empirical approach for determining the stability criteria for particle swarm optimization variance. This approach provides a real-world depiction of particle stability by imposing absolutely no simplifying assumptions
on the underlying particle swarm optimization variant. The approach was utilized to identify a number of previously unknown stability criteria. The promovendus also provided novel theoretical derivations of the stability criteria for both the fully informed and the unified particle swarm optimization algorithms. Lastly, the promovendus provided a substantial theoretical extension of current optimization stability research. It was also proven that in order to derive stability criteria, no weaker modeling assumption can be made for the particle swarm optimization algorithm. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Martinus David Strauss, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science with a thesis titled Process-Based Decomposition and Multi-Core Performance, Case Studies from Stringology, prepared under my supervision and with Professor Bruce Watson as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the candidate explored an effective alternative to conventional sequential programming. His objective was to leverage the unused processing power on everyday multi-core computers. Several algorithmic problems with well-known sequential solutions from stringology were selected for study. Each problem was decomposed into a set of interacting processes, and these interactive process behavior was abstractly described in CSP, which is a process-based algebra based on asynchronous process communication. These CSP descriptions informed implementations in Go, which is Google's process-oriented programming language. No particular effort was made to optimize the resulting code. Nevertheless, most, but not all of the process-based solutions were significantly more efficient than their sequential counterparts. The work therefore suggests that if we are to effectively use the computational power that is already available, concurrent programming should receive much more attention in educational institutions and should be more fully utilized in industrial applications. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request that you confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Information Science in the Information Sciences. Lechobole Ranchla. The Master of Science in Computer Science, Barend Leonard with distinction. Master of Information Technology, Zola Chamisa. Motsidisi Mokwena. Bachelor of Information Science, Honours in Information Science, Ruan Low. Honours in Multimedia, Kimberly Bale. Kwan Ka. In Computer Science, Nkosikona Dlamini. Vivian Fenter. Albert Folschink. In Information Science, Pamelo Lerumo. Moketsi Sikisi. Akani Simbine. Bachelor of Information Science in Multimedia, Helen Sobey. Tabo Tefo. Golechane Tipe. Bachelor of Information Science in Publishing, Ellen Creer. In Information and Knowledge Systems, Jason Gordon. Motsitsiripe Sefako. Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Priscilla Marique. Christian Simon. Gerard van Wyk. Bachelor of Information Technology, Fatima Elemdin. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates in the School of Engineering.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Willem Christoffel Grobler, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Industrial Systems under the supervision of Professor Johan V. Joubert. In his thesis, investigating net ideal cycle time estimation and efficient buffer allocation for body-in-white production lines, the promovendus make significant contributions to new knowledge in the field of automotive production economics. These contributions are relevant to body-in-white production line design, that is, the production of the basic steel structure of a car. A new method was proposed to estimate net ideal cycle time, the main metric used to inform the design of a new automotive plant. The results suggest that body-in-white production lines have traditionally been designed with insufficient capacity. Secondly, the promovendors followed a multi-objective approach to evaluate the placement and size of buffers on the production line. Throughput, cost, space, and work in progress process are traded off against one another as decision makers traverse the efficient frontier for a more efficient production line design. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request that you confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce you to you Kalenda Mutombo, who has complied with the requirements of the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Metallurgy, with a thesis titled Control of Microstructure and Mechanical Properties of Titanium Alpha-Beta Alloys through Thermomechanical Processing, prepared under my supervision and with Prof. Sia as a co-supervisor. In his thesis, the promovendors addressed the microstructural hot working processes in the industrial alloy titanium 6 aluminium 4 vanadium during hot rolling. Optimization of the variables of deformation and the constituents of phase transformations was the main focus of this study. In this particular alloy, which finds increasing use in chemical, aeronautical, and medical implant applications. One of the main findings was that the isothermal compression of this alloy at elevated temperatures with an initial colony lamellar structure was characterized by transformation of the alpha into the beta phase and spheroidization of the alpha laths through a process of dynamic globularization. Empirical models expressing the alpha globule size as a function of its final volume fraction, deformation temperature, strain rate, and plastic strain, or as a function of the Zeno-Holomon parameter and plastic strain were derived. Findings of this study will contribute to an optimized industrial processing schedule for this alloy. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Mutombo Elaine Nwembu, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Metallurgy, with a thesis entitled Modeling of the Characteristics of Iron Ore Granules formed during the granulation process of mixtures that contain concentrate and micropellets, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Robert Cromarty as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the promovendors provided a framework for predicting the granule size distribution and pressure drop across granules for iron ore sinter. The granule size distribution was calculated by means of the mathematical model of Lidster. The autolayering process was found to be the main mechanism whereby finer material adheres around large particles. This was confirmed with the use of X-ray microtomography to analyze the effect of concentrate and micropellet addition on the granule structures. 3 additional mechanisms were identified: coalescence of microgranules, adhesion between micropellets, and adhesion between large granules and micropellets. The pressure drop through the granule bed was modeled by coupling the discrete element method and computational fluid dynamics. The model was validated using packed beds of mixtures of glass beads. This was then extended to granulated mixtures that contain concentrate and micropellets. The importance of the stiffness, friction, size distribution, and shape of the granules was investigated. Comparisons confirmed good agreement between the predicted and measured pressure drops for both systems of glass beads and iron ore granules. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Pierre van Rijn, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Simplified Field Analysis of ISM band OFDM-based industrial wireless sensor networks, prepared under my supervision. In his thesis, the promovendus analyzed the phenomenon termed the service level differential zone to estimate the committed information rate reference for IEEE 802.11a, g, and n OFDM systems in terms of throughput bandwidth between a test node and an access point at a specific range. This simplifies the field analysis and qualification of ISM band networks in terms of the standards and specified service level agreement requirements. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Evan Murimi Nyamu Wanjiru, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy, with the thesis titled Optimal Energy Water Nexus Management in Residential Buildings Incorporating Renewable Energy, Efficient Devices and Water Recycling. In his thesis, the promovendus designed optimal control systems that simultaneously maximize efficiency and conservation of two crucial and entwined resources, namely energy and water in residential buildings. Open-loop, optimal, and closed-loop model predictive control systems were developed to manage energy and water in cold and hot water categories. Based on case studies in South African houses, simulations showed that the control systems can lead to significant cost savings from energy and water consumption.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Omopolanle Adekola, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Chemical Engineering with a thesis titled Wastewater Minimization in Multi-Purpose Batch Plants with Changeover Constraints and Energy Optimization, prepared under my supervision. Whenever we seek to design, synthesize, and optimize batch chemical processes, we are confronted with two challenges. The first one is the inherent dimension due to binary variables that tell us when, how, and where things occur within the labyrinth so-called process. And the second one is the representation of time that accurately captures the occurrence of tasks as dictated by the recipe. Both challenges tend to result in mathematical models with structural deficiencies that have remained largely elusive through the lens of today's knowledge and understanding. In a PhD thesis, the promovenda developed a mathematical framework that accounts for both these challenges in the quest for resources conservation using process integration principles. Her focus was mainly on water and energy, the very two resources that are of fundamental essence in South African and global contexts. Her mathematical models are characterized by much better performance than what has hitherto prevailed in published literature, and her work has been published in leading chemical engineering journals and presented at conferences. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Waldo Borman, who has complied with the requirements of the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering with a thesis entitled Energy Optimization for Mine Cooling Systems Through Flow Control, prepared under my supervision with Professor J.P. Meyer and Dr. Dion Arndt as co-supervisors. In this thesis, a semi-empirical integrated thermodynamic and heat transfer mine cooling system simulation model was developed to fully quantify the overall energy consumption of interrelated components and subsystems. The simulation model was coupled to an optimization platform to allow for global minimization of the total energy consumption for varying weather and cooling demand conditions. Model verifications and calibrations were performed from a deep-level gold mine, which also acted as a case study. Hourly and annual baseline simulations were compared to scenarios with different flow rates and were optimized. It was found that the total annual energy consumption opportunity existed of 18% or 17.1 gigawatt hours. It is proposed that such integrated mine cooling optimization systems be adopted in the mining sector to encourage significant reductions of energy consumption. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request that you confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Herman Adendorf Hammersma, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering, with a thesis titled ABS Braking on Rough Terrain, prepared under my supervision. In his thesis, ABS Braking on Rough Terrain, the promovendus investigated the factors influencing the braking performance of a vehicle on rough terrains. Deterioration of braking performance on rough terrain is very well known, but as little has been done to address it. The promovendus proposed a novel ABS braking performance evaluation technique, investigated some of the common assumptions encountered in ABS algorithms, and developed a control algorithm that significantly improves braking performance on the rough terrain by adapting the suspension settings to the terrain. The control algorithm, called the Wisdom algorithm, reduces the suspension force variation while braking. This is done by estimating the wheel up and then predicting the suspension strut forces. The predictor model is used to identify the ideal suspension configuration. It was found that the proposed algorithm decreased the stopping distance on the rough terrains without negatively affecting vehicle stability. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Leilani Smith, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering with a thesis titled Investigation of a Modified Low-Drag Body for an Alternative Wing Body Tail Configuration, prepared under my supervision and with the co-supervisions of Professor Ken Craig and Professor Jeff Spedding from the University of Southern California. In her thesis, she used computational fluid dynamics to investigate a proposed wing body tail configuration that is unique in two respects. Firstly, the aircraft uses a modified low-drag body as fuselage that is both shorter with an associated lower structural mass and lower drag. And secondly, the conventional tail plane is replaced by a carefully designed deflector flap at the rear end of the fuselage that can modify the flow around the body to allow for more uniform circulation between the body and the wing. The computational work investigated the various parameters at play, such as flap deflection angle, size and position relative to the wakes of the fuselage and wing, resulting in useful guidelines for further investigations to optimize the geometry. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Ulrich Spannenberg, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering, with a thesis titled Reduction of Rolling Contact Fatigue for the Control of a Wheel Wear Shape, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Robert Froeling as scope supervisor. In his thesis, Reduction of Rolling Contact Fatigue for the Control of a Wheel Wear Shape, the promovenda studied approaches to reduce rail rolling contact fatigue, or RCF, on South Africa's iron ore export line by managing the worn wheel shape. These approaches included the evaluation of wheel and rail profile shapes that contribute the most to RCF initiation. The study further explored an approach where the suspension stiffness or rail profile was changed to eliminate unwanted wheel profile shapes. Finally, a redesign of a wheel profile was considered to reduce rolling contact fatigue initiation. The major findings of the research indicated that the RCF damage is most sensitive to the position of hollow wear in the wheel tread. The current suspension stiffness is the most suitable. A low gauge corner rail profile increases the potential to initiate rolling contact fatigue, and the new profile design produces more stable conicities over the wear life of a wheel profile. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Bo Wang, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electronic Engineering with a thesis titled A Control System Framework for Building Energy Retrofitting and Maintenance Planning, prepared under the supervision of Prof. Shah. In his thesis, the promovendus investigated approaches to improve the energy savings and economic performance of energy efficiency building projects. A control system framework was established to address the dynamics manifested at management level in the building retrofitting and maintenance planning problem. The thesis investigated and addressed the following topics from the control system perspective: retrofitting planning, corrective maintenance planning, preventive maintenance planning, maintenance plan time scheduling, and a theoretical analysis of the robustness of the employed approaches. The newly established control system framework enabled research progress in three major research fields: control engineering, reliability engineering, and maintenance engineering. Madam Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Applied Science in Control. Nobertin Nkhoke Eyeche. Mbia Mwika. In Applied Science Mechanics, Konrad Sanema Goffin. In Applied Science Metallurgy, Mosi Manchape Masete. Mbavalelo Maumela with distinction. Master of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Andrew Cowgill. Secheto Mokwalto with distinction. Oliver Woodrow. Master of Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Rhino van der Walt with distinction. Fazil Wamalwa with distinction. Master of Engineering in Electronic Engineering, Pandalani Munyai with distinction. Martin Rustorff with distinction. Master of Engineering in Geotechnical Engineering, Tiago Jasper with distinction. David Marks with distinction. Master of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering, Marco Alfama with distinction. Kinesh Archalan with distinction. Martin Hubert with distinction. Gerhardus Kinnenberg with distinction. Logan Rosenberg. Adolf Fuchel with distinction. Craig Wright with distinction. Master of Engineering in Metallurgical Engineering, Indinanwi Molotsi, with distinction. Master of Engineering in Microelectronic Engineering, Neil Nadir, with distinction. Master of Engineering in Structural Engineering, Francois van Skalkwijk, with distinction. Master of Engineering in Transportation Engineering, Andrew McKellar. Cornelia Pretorius. Master of Engineering in Water Utilization Engineering, Johan Kutsia, with distinction. Bachelor of Science Honours, Applied Science in Industrial Systems, Mamakela Maboela. Ebenezer Mawela. Honours in Applied Science, Chemical Technology, Kulekani Dlamini. Muke Mbo. Honours in Applied Science, Metallurgy, Sheshiso Sibhuba. Applied Science in Environmental Technology, Moshlepula Shlapuletsa. Honours in Applied Science, Water Utilization, Pachutetso Mashao. Sheila Ruto. Njabula Tella. Ntukoza Zwane. Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Industrial Engineering, Nilius Greef. Imke Lattergan. Gilroy Nkuna. Povashni Viranna. Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Chemical Engineering, Nazreen Ghani. In Electrical Engineering, Benjamin Chalikosa. Adrian van Graan, with distinction. Honours in Electronic Engineering. Sholofelo Malachi, with distinction. With honours in Mechanical Engineering. Kirsten Bosch. Stephanus Duplessis. Heinrich Kampfer. Odette Scholes. Thebe Setsedi. Willem Wannenberg. Honours in Metallurgical Engineering. Roland de Graaf. In Environmental Engineering. Tabang Mosaka. Koketso Rampiesce. Honours in Computer Engineering. Ronaldo Fibiger, with distinction. Intefeng Molosane. Honours in Water Utilization Engineering. Shiamo Mossadi. Tuto Mosholi. Megan Skalkweg, with distinction. Bachelor of Engineering in Industrial Engineering. Renier Meyer. David Spangenberg. In Chemical Engineering. Sybil Jabangwe. Pachutsetso Maisha. Mahabe Mojella. Yonker Motumi. Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Engineering. Karabo Diole. Pomolo Mpashlele. David van Niekerk. Melissa Vessels. Bachelor of Engineering in Electronic Engineering, Hendrik Nel. In Mechanical Engineering, Muhammad Agigi. Neil Ashmead. Nicolas Basson. Barinda Berger. Kaylin De Freitas. Lawrence Duplessis. Robert Ferreira. Tashin Govender. Helgard Griezel. Kefitile Shlaboayo. Lo Kampman. Tadala Kawerema. Armand Kutsir. Matteo Lovisa. Nsladi Madileng. Letlokhonolo Mahale. Dr. Masuku. Selo Mateba. Sifiso Mshletse. Philip Merlis Diaz. Khomotso Mnisi. Cheryl Mofokeng. Neo Mohase. Veli Mtombeni. Njabulo Njlovo. Cotswold Otukpa. Charles Pinar. Marno Prinsloo. Rudzani Ramukumba. Stefan Sadler. Johannes Schiepers. Daniel Scooter. Johannes Selokela. Tumelo Siti. Chantal Smith. Pierre Smith. Emil Smith. Neil Stapelberg. Willem van Nieuwkop. Cor Nelly Visagie. Dale Whittaker. Courage Zvakasikwa. Bachelor of Engineering in Metallurgical Engineering. Stembiso Shlatswayo. Michael Anger Kakuji. Nkosikona Machidella. Mulalo Manwata. Goodman Matabula. Nkoba Mgibi. Petedi Molekwa. Yvonne Mpashlele. Sandile Mpofu. Mohammed Saluji. Tebejo Semenya. Yuri Ace. Bachelor of Engineering in Mining Engineering, Bongani Mshlongo. Tabile Mofokeng. Pierre Olivier. Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Engineering, Arnav Thakur. Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates in the Graduate School for Technology Management.
Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I introduce to you Paul Alexander van den Blink, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management, with a thesis titled Strategic Complexity for Impactful Innovation in Emerging Economy Automotive Component Manufacturing, under my supervision. The promovendus investigated whether automotive component manufacturers can achieve better innovation outcomes if they apply more complex strategies. He conducted his research on survey and interview data from 530 automotive component manufacturers in South Africa, India, and China. By path analysis through structural equation modeling, he found that more complex strategies did indeed lead to broader impact of innovation regarding cost, quality, delivery, and new products and services. He also observed that greater diversity of technology and knowledge sources and of innovation types contributed significantly to this relationship. The differences found in the results for South Africa, China, and India yielded insights into the effects of the different innovation environments. Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all the associated rights and privileges. Our hearty congratulations. Well done.
Madam Vice Chancellor and Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Engineering Management. Tabani Mshlongo. Mfanesibili Ngwenya. The Master of Science in Project Management, Manjlakazi Folose. Nshlanshla Lushlanga. Apollonia Machida. Jethro Mashaba. Ntebaleng More. Christina Ramotsabi. Master of Science in Technology Management, Gift Mudao. Lebohang Ramia. Master of Engineering in Technology Management, Keso Tsekowa. Master of Engineering in Engineering Management, Paul Kwangwari. Tongai Matonda. In Project Management, Philip Zoro Boshilo. Shlamalani Maluleke. Amit Ramtirat. Resham Singh with distinction. Bachelor of Science Honours in Technology Management, Frisi Bapella. Scandiso Jlamini. Michael Kemp. Johannes Homo. Bongumusa Langa. Palesa Leporto. Ruth Madonsela. Maseya Mashlabegoane. Pihane Maquella. Zinchle Malinga. Pelokazi Masakane Gotlwana. Pindile Mate. Dimakatso Matolle. Malesela Matosa. Josephina Matunzi. Rembuluwani Matodzi. Vusumuzi Maisella. Leslokhonolo Molotsane. Nombali Mguni. Pilane Khosi Mkai. Ntombiele Moeng. Mohapi Molema. Shidiso Mochalatledi. Temba Mtembu. Magidi Muneri with distinction. Shimangakhatso Munai. Lufuno Mutanye. Sitabile Mzamo. Kawe Inshlangamandla. Siyabonga Nkongo. Tabo Ngashu. Unati Inchunze. Mashekhoana Rampedi. Vonani Sampenyane. Manjlenkosi Shandu. Sifiso Shandu. Lechlokhonolo Sima. Ntutuzelo Twabu. Lwando Zonke. Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Technology Management, Johannes Botha. Lesego Momako. Ramareki Mpshe. Maropene Mpoko. Constant Postma.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating all our graduates whose achievements we're celebrating today. I now turn to our graduates and ask you to express your appreciation to your parents, your family members, your sponsors, your friends, and of course the academics who have supported you throughout your courses of study. And now, on behalf of the alumni of the University of Pretoria, I wish to extend a warm welcome to you. We have a network of over 250,000 alumni who are working in South Africa, across the African continent, and throughout the world. I would like to ask each and every one of you to stay in touch with us as you move through your lives and your careers, of course. We take pride in your achievements, but at the same time, we're always there to support you, whatever the opportunity or the challenge that confronts you. We trust also that many of you will enroll with us, if not currently, in the future, because as we know, with changing technologies, we do need to commit ourselves to lifelong career development. As I'm sure you're aware, at this university, continuing professional development is a core component of our academic mission. And if you're not wearing a red gown this morning or today, I do want to tell you they're not running out of stock. At your request, we'll reserve one for you in the future. In conclusion, I wish to share with you the following wisdom from the very well-known author on leadership, John Maxwell. He urges all of us to have a dream about our future, because he says, when we have a dream, we're not just spectators sitting back, hoping that everything turns out right. A dream enables us to take an active part in shaping our lives and in making choices. Now that you have a University of Pretoria qualification as an enabling qualification, I invite you to allow your dream to guide you to further milestones in your future. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the end of the formal celebrations. As you exit this Rembrandt Hall, which is part of our sports complex, you may notice a number of posters and images of the Tuck sport athletes in whom we have taken pride in the past and in the present. In fact, in our graduations this morning, we have one of our tuck sport champions, Akani Simbini, one of the fastest men in the world today. We can use our sports champions who have shown us how to succeed in their sport while at the same time earning a qualification that will stand them in good stead as they make their way in the world. Our very best wishes to all of you. And as you make your mark in the world and become rich and famous, please remember the University of Pretoria. Your donations will always be welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated, we are now approaching the end of our formal proceedings. Before we close, I do wish to extend an invitation to all of you to join us for refreshments immediately outside in the marquees situated in front of this hall. I will request that you stand for the singing of the national anthem and that you remain standing until I have dissolved the assembly and the academic procession has left this auditorium. I also would like to extend a very warm word of gratitude to all our administrative staff, our technical staff, and security staff who have organized this graduation ceremony for us today. I now invite you to please rise for the singing of the national anthem. Kragtens die bevoegdheid aan my toevertrou, ontbind ek hierdie kongregasie van die Universiteit van Pretoria. By the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this assembly of the University of Pretoria.